Hi, I wanted to do a follow-up to yesterday's introduction, if you want to call it that. Went out to the plane. I thought I had a small oil leak and it was dripping down, I thought, on the cowl and onto the nose landing gear. After pulling the cowl off and doing a little bit of search, the only thing I found was a little bit of splatter on some of the hoses, very little splatter. Looks like it could have been from changing the oil the last time and not really cleaned up all the spots. I checked everywhere. The filter was clean, the filter gasket, rubber gasket, there was no leak there. The filler tube was dry. All around the bottom of the engine was dry. Back side of the engine looked good. I checked all the valve covers and they were all tight, they were good, they were dry. I also checked the exhaust gas probes, temperature probes, and 1 and 2 are different from 3 and 4. I'm not sure why. So I'll have to look at those. I'm not sure if those probes were replaced before I purchased the plane or not. I know I have new probes in for the cylinder head temps, so I'm going to research those. I think I used Alcor probes. I have annual coming up in November, so I'll do the replacement then. So after searching for an oil leak and not finding any, I've come to the conclusion that while my sundowner usually will spew out a little bit of grease from around that top fitting of the nose landing gear, I don't think it's helping matters that with the summer heat, once you get inside our hangar, it is ungodly hot. To touch the wings, it won't burn your hand, but it's very hot to the touch. So I'm thinking that might have something to do with it. That and the landings and whatnot, just pumping some grease out. Maybe from letting it sit all those months after my surgery. I'm not quite sure. But I cleaned all that up. I'm going to purchase a grease gun, as I mentioned in my post, and hit all the nose landing gear and both main gear, re-grease everything, just to see if I can push out some of that older, real dirty, the grease that seems to be breaking down, at least in the nose landing gear. Both main gears seem very tight. They're good. With that completed and the cowl put back on, I went through and did a pre-flight because tomorrow we're planning to fly to Eagle Crest. I still have to go over and order fuel since I'm doing this video blog on Monday morning. Of course, on the way to it's never easy. On the way to the airport yesterday, my Mercedes-Benz ML320, the battery light comes on. So once I got to the airport, I looked up and I keep all my receipts for tires, batteries, and that sort of thing. And I have a battery that was purchased July 5th, I think, or 6th 2015. I'm sorry, it's 2 years old. So while I was working on the plane, I threw the battery minder on from the little Ranger pickup while it sat out front, and while I worked on the Ranger. I couldn't find any leak in that. I didn't take any video. Drove it home, watched the temp rise on it, perfectly in the normal range, not a drop, fluid level's fine. When I pulled up behind somebody that had a nice clean truck, I could actually see the reflection of the front bumper on my Ranger, and I could see that there was no steam or nothing spewing out of the bottom hose. So I will drive that around locally and see what I can find out. So I bring the SUV home and get that in the garage, and then forgot to take the charger home with me. So Mary ran me back over in her car, picked up the charger, brought it back, and hooked up the truck so that I can drive it to the shop this morning. And when I got home from the airport last night, I shut the truck off, turned it over, started right up without a problem. And of course, when moving to Ocean City, Maryland, I cannot find where my multimeter is. Not a clue. I checked the hangar, I checked the garage, went through my toolboxes, nothing. So I can't even see if the darn thing's charging. Anyway, I set it up on the battery minder. This morning, went out, started it right up. Mary followed me over and we dropped the truck off. And I just got a call. It is indeed the alternator, and it's going to be a $630 bill. Of course, everything loves to hit right before vacation, but that's okay. I have no complaints. I have over 200,000 miles on my ML320, and very rare does something go wrong with it. So I think I lost a serpentine belt since I've been down here. Or was that up in when I was at Wilmington? I can't remember. But I put one serpentine belt on. I just had a pulley, tensioner pulley put on. And now I'm going to put an alternator on. So I guess for a 2003 it hasn't beat me up too bad except for regular oil changes and tires. So I'm very happy with the truck. So we'll get the alternator fixed, pick that up later today, throw the dog in the back of it, head over to the airport, let her run around some, and then take on fuel for our trip tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get a video tomorrow. We're going to fly over Atlantic City, right up the coastline into Eagle's Nest. Just got off the phone with Enterprise, have a car rented, so we'll have transportation for the day to visit Mary's family. That's about it for now. I just wanted to follow up since every shot I took yesterday was terrible. Bad angles, bad light, shaky camera. I'm going to need to find a better way to control things. But I'd like to start doing some more video blogs when I do things or when we travel, not just shooting approaches in the plane. So that's it for now. Hopefully we'll have a nice video after tomorrow's flight.